In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Freedom.
Birmingham, Alabama was the most racist, segregated, and violent city in the South. It was known as Birmingham due to 60 unsolved bombings in the 1960s. How did Birmingham get to this point? To answer this question, we need to unravel the past. It was in 1944 when Birmingham decided to embrace the first set of segregation ordinances. One ordinance stated in Section 369, it shall be unlawful to conduct a restaurant or other place for the serving of food in a city, at which white and colored people are served in the same room.
My parents worked hard every day. My mother worked for white people. She cooked for white people. She fed their kids. And all of this they trusted her to do, but she wasn't trustworthy or good enough to sit down and eat with them.
Segregation in the South had become a part of everyday life, but many disagreed and felt change was necessary. The big question was, how? The Civil Rights era began in 1954 with the groundbreaking case of Brown v. Board of Education. It stated that separate public schools for black and white children were unconstitutional. Still, there was defiance to these changes, and Birmingham city leaders were entrenched in keeping segregation. It was obvious to civil rights leaders that Birmingham should be the place to take their stand. The protesters would have resistance. Eugene Bull Connor was Birmingham's Commissioner of Public Safety, and his views were very clear.
You can never whip these boys if you don't keep you and them separate. I found that out in Birmingham. You've got to keep the white and the black separate.
Expectations were that Connor was going to be difficult and harsh. Civil rights leaders anticipated this would cause unrest and ultimately benefit their stand. In 1963, many colored people had been suffering under segregation. Public places such as bathrooms, public transportation, and water fountains were separated under laws. In April 1963, Dr. King and local leader Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth led a group of protesters, which resulted in many arrests. As more people got arrested, they ran out of money to bail them out of jail, so King decided to go to jail himself. While confined, he wrote his famous Letter from a Birmingham Jail. It stated, "We're caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny." After he was released, nothing had changed. There was a sense of hopelessness. Protests continued and were still ineffective. James Bevel, leader of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, began to create plans for the Children's March. They used gatherings after the church service to show the children how to protest. King did not want to use the children, but desperation began to set in. Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth voiced his opinion on the matter by saying, "We've got to use what we got." The Children's March gained momentum with Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches at black churches. King was very inspiring and gained more support from children. Although many adults were inspired as well, they feared other consequences would result if they went to jail. Most of the adult protesters had jobs in Birmingham. They couldn't afford to miss work. Also, others feared losing business with local shops, landowners, and banks. They did not want to expose their families to the hardships of segregation. So, the children decided it was their turn to take a stand. They had nothing to lose. On May 2nd, 1963, children put a plan in place. One school, students signaled each other when it was time to march. R.C. Johnson, the principal of Parker High School, heard about their plans and padlocked the gates. But the children left through windows, climbed the barriers, leaving any way they could. As they walked, more people joined, marching all the way to the 16th Street Baptist Church. They were expected to leave weapons they had, or they could not participate in the march. Some were given signs to hold, saying things like, "I'll die to make this land my home," and "Justice for all, now." The first group walked out at 1 o'clock after a DJ from WENN started the song "All Men Created by God." 1.5 blocks later, they were met by policemen. After being told to disperse, they defied the orders. Bull Connor then pulled up in a huge white armored vehicle. Connor ordered the policemen to restrain and arrest the crowd of children. As the children were arrested, the next group of protesters arrived. Wave after wave of children were arrested. Soon, the paddy wagons were filled, so they had to use school buses. Later that night, people celebrated at the 16th Street Baptist Church and made plans for the next march. On the second day, Double D-Day as they had called it, the children that were not arrested the previous day went out and marched again. Bull Connor ordered the firemen and officers to meet them with fire hoses and scare them with dogs. In defiance, a courageous group of children stayed together against the powerful spray and kept chanting the word freedom.
Ain't gonna let segregation turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let segregation turn me around. I'm gonna keep on.
On the third day, May 4th, having seen a picture of a dog biting a teenager, the events in Birmingham grabbed the attention of President Kennedy and the country. Thanks to the harsh tactics of Bull Connor, the events in Birmingham became national news.
The whole world saw what was going on in Birmingham, Alabama, how they thought so less of little kids.
On May 5th, also known as Miracle Sunday, adults and kids marched together. After being told to turn around, Reverend Billups said, "Turn on your water, turn loose your dogs, we will stand here till we die." Connor commanded the firemen to turn the hoses on, but they refused to. The sense of hopelessness turned to feelings of optimism. On May 6, James Bevel had made a deal with Police Chief Moore. If the students marched peacefully, the police would have to arrest them without using hoses or dogs. During a meeting held that night, Martin Luther King Jr. had said, "This is the most inspiring movement that has ever taken place in the United States of America." The last march was held on May 6, and the effects of the stand were felt. In the following 4 days, negotiations took place. On May 10, a compromise was met, and the first agreement was to let the marchers out of jail. 2 months later, the Birmingham City Council voted unanimously to remove the segregation ordinances from the city code. Progress was made, but segregation and hate would emerge again. On September 15, 1963, there had been a bombing at the 16th Street Baptist Church. Barbara Cross, 13 years old, and daughter of Reverend John Cross, was at Sunday school that morning.
What happened, one of my friends came by the classroom, Addie Mae Collins, and wanted me to go to the bathroom with her, but my teacher had given me an assignment, but I didn't realize that my assignment, excuse me if I get emotional,
It's okay.
really spared my life. And so I gave Addie my wallet, and I said, "I'll see you in a little while." And after that, it seemed like about 10 or 15 minutes, I heard the horrific noise, and the building felt like it was shaking off its foundation.
Tragically, 14 years old Addie Mae Collins, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, and 11-year-old Denise McNair died in the bombing, while 23 others were injured.
After all these years, I still cry. And I will never forget the horrors of that day. I will always remember that 4 innocent girls lost their lives in a place of worship.
Immediately after the bombing, Martin Luther King Jr. sent a telegram to President Kennedy. He knew more needed to be done. Unfortunately, on November 22, 1963, Kennedy was assassinated. Kennedy's successor, President Lyndon B. Johnson, signed the landmark Civil Rights Act on July 2, 1964. The act prohibited discrimination based on color and/or religion. This paved the way for change, opportunity, and fairness. In 1963, Birmingham, Alabama, the Children's March had occurred. Young people were mistreated, injured, and killed. It was a desperate moment for the Civil Rights Movement. It became a movement led by children to obtain equality and strengthen the voice of all people, no matter their age, gender, or race. Their stand brought attention to a troubled city. Their stand inspired change nationally. Ultimately, their stand helped provide future generations their fundamental right, freedom.